That moment you walk into a crowded sports bar on a Sunday, and there's just this massive wall of TVs.
Oh, yeah, total sensory overload.
Right. And suddenly, right as a game goes to commercial, all four of those screens flawlessly merge into one giant broadcast of another game. It honestly feels like magic.
It really does look like magic, but, there is actually some intense technical wizardry happening right behind the drywall to make that transition so incredibly smooth.
Exactly. So welcome to this custom deep dive where we are unpacking exactly how that magic works for you today.
We really wanted to get into the actual hardware that pulls this off, right?
Yeah, we pull the specs on an industry standard device, specifically the WolfPack 4K 30 hertz 4x4 HDMI Matrix Switcher from HDTV Supply, just to figure out the hidden technology running the show.
And to really grasp what this box is doing, we have to look at its core function, which is matrix switching. It's not just your standard switch.
All right, let's unpack this a bit, because if a standard switch is, say, a basic traffic cop, a 4x4 matrix switcher is more like a massive multi-level freeway interchange.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah, like cars can instantly teleport from any lane to any exit. It takes four distinct high-definition HDMI video inputs, say 4 different cable boxes, and routes them to 4 separate TV outputs simultaneously.
Right.
And it performs this switching in less than 100 milliseconds.
And what's fascinating there is why that 100 millisecond benchmark is the actual magic number for your viewing experience.
Why is that?
Well, normally when you switch video sources on a standard home setup, you get that awkward, lingering black or blue screen while the new signal loads, right?
Totally.
The absolute worst.
Yeah, but at under 100 milliseconds, this switcher completely eliminates that visual hiccup. The transition becomes literally seamless to the human eye. Wow. But here is what really caught my eye in these specs. Routing that digital traffic incredibly fast is one thing, but because this device is actively processing the video rather than just passing it through a wire, it can actually manipulate the image.
Which brings us to the video wall feature.
Exactly.
So that raw processing power is what enables the drag and drop video wall processing. It basically lets users take a tablet and easily combine those 4 separate screens into one cohesive 2x2 4K display.
Just by swiping?
Yeah, just by dragging a source to a specific quadrant on the screen layout.
Okay, wait, I have to push back here a second. Merging 4 distinct 1080p feeds into a single massive 4K wall sounds computationally heavy.
It is.
So how does a bartender or, a casual user actually control that on the fly without the system just freezing up or needing an IT degree?
Well, that is the brilliant part of the design. The user interface abstracts all of that insane computational load.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, instead of dealing with complex coding or routing tables, the user just interacts with a simple web-based graphical user interface, a WBUI basically.
Right.
They do it on their tablet or through an included remote. The internal processor handles all the heavy lifting of scaling and syncing the pixels perfectly in the background. Plus, there are push buttons with blue lights on the unit and even a free DirecTV control system.
Making 4 screens act as one looks effortless on that tablet, but from what I'm reading in the research, it requires some intense behind-the-scenes negotiation.
Oh, absolutely.
The specs specifically mention internal HDCP and Smart-AVI management. And I'll be honest, I'm a bit lost in the alphabet soup here. What does that mean?
Let's break that down, because this is basically the secret handshake of digital video.
Okay.
HDCP stands for High Bandwidth Digital Content Protection. Basically, your cable box is constantly checking with your TV to make sure the signal isn't being pirated.
Right, the copyright stuff.
Exactly. Usually when you switch screens, that connection breaks, the handshake fails, and it has to restart. That restart is what causes that dreaded blue screen or a dropped signal.
I see. Wait, so this switcher acts as a permanent middleman.
You got it.
So it's constantly shaking hands with the cable box, so the source never realizes the actual TV screen was swapped out.
Precisely. By administering the authentication internally, it prevents the digital data from ever being intercepted or interrupted. The signal just never drops.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, and that ties right into ED, which is essentially the display's ID card. It tells the source exactly what resolutions and audio formats the TV can handle. The switcher manages those ID cards intelligently, so the source always outputs the perfect format instantly.
Wow. So, rather than getting bogged down in just the hardware specs, the real takeaway here is the implication of this tech.
Definitely.
We're talking about commercial-grade digital management packed into an accessible device that is, like, $899.95.
Yeah, it's incredibly accessible.
That's why you don't just see these in sports bars. They're powering high-stakes environments like data centers, bowling alleys, casinos, places of worship, and even complex home theaters.
Right, because it provides absolute reliability when you have multiple screens that simply cannot afford to go blank or lose a signal.
So, the next time you are at a restaurant and see multiple TVs syncing perfectly, you will understand the technical wizardry making it happen.
For magic.
No, it's a high-speed digital interchange doing secret handshakes in the background.
And this actually raises an important question to leave you all with.
What's that?
Well, if a single commercial box can flawlessly authenticate, secure, and route 4K video streams in under 100 milliseconds, how might this kind of lightning-fast internal HDCP management change how we securely handle and display sensitive visual information in places like data centers?
That is a fascinating thought to chew on the next time you find yourself staring at a perfectly synced 2x2 video wall.